Okay, so it looks like we're getting started with this webinar on understanding our dualistic nature. So hang in there. I'm waiting a little bit longer for a few people to show up, and then we can continue on and get started with this webinar. And we need about maybe another minute to go, okay? So hang in there. If you can hear me, please let me know that you can hear me, all right? Because it's really important that you let me know that you can hear me. So let me know if you can hear me. Anyone who's there, love to hear from you. And I'm so happy that you're here to hang out with me today. Love hanging out with you guys. So it's always so much fun. And let me see here. Let me know if you can hear me. All right, let me know if you can hear me. So just anybody, just type, yes, I can hear you. Okay, great. Well, guys, again, thank you for showing up today and hanging out with me for this little hour. And really, I am so looking forward to. Thank you, Klaus, for telling me that you can hear me. And I'm looking forward to hearing more from you guys, too. So ask your questions along the way. Today's topic has to do with understanding your dualistic nature. And I think it's really important that we do understand who we are as a being, because once you're able to grasp that, I mean, there's really everything possible for you to do, to achieve, to actualize. And I think it's really it's one of the most important things for us to really create the life of our design, is to understand the power that we have within us. And we are very powerful beings. I have to say that there's this one thing that I always subscribe to. It's called, I think it's Messages from the Universe, or let me see what it's called. It's called The Universe. It's called The Universe, and it's The Universe at tut.com. And what I subscribe to are messages, a note from the universe, and I get those notes every single day. But you know what? I really like them because those notes to me inspire me and remind me of who I am as a whole being. And I'm not just what I see in the mirror. I'm not just what I see as I look out at my hands or my body. I'm so much greater than that, and so are you. A lot of times we define ourselves as to whether we're a male or female, or married or single or divorced, or whether we're a parent or not a parent, or whether we're, a certain political affiliation or a certain religion, or the kind of job that we do. I'm a doctor, I'm a teacher, and that's not who you are. You're so much greater than that. We talk about in some of the courses that we've taught, the progressive levels of actualization, which is a take on Robert Dilts' work in NLP, and basically, or Maslow's as well. And basically, he's talking about how, what are the first things that we need to correct and move and grow through, is the challenges that we experience in our environment. Because unless we solve all the problems that we have in our environment, it's really hard for us to move upward and forward into the next step, into the next level. And if we're, struggling to pay the bills or put food on the table or find a job, and all your energy, all your focus, all your time is so kept in this physical plane to want to solve those problems, to take care of your needs, your physical needs. So the environment is one of the things that we always need to look at in order for us to move forward and upward in our evolution towards fulfillment and actualization. And so if you're having a lot of challenges in your environment, then you really do want to focus some attention to solving all those challenges one by one, until you're free from that. If you owe a lot of money, then go out and make a plan to pay those bills. Talk to your debtors, or not debtors, the people that you owe money to, that you're in debt to. Go and resolve those issues and take care of business at home. Because once you do, you free up a lot of space, a lot of energy to focus now on your behaviors. Now, your behaviors are a bit of a higher level, you could say. But once you start working on your behaviors, and that's everything across the board, that's going to be, and that's also a lot of it has to do with that physical part of you. Although everything involves your spiritual aspect as well, because you are and we are dualistic in nature. But when you're working with your behaviors, are your behaviors supporting what you want to achieve as a big picture, as your outcome? Are your behaviors going to make you a better person and do better in your life? So are you, for example, eating right, exercising, sleeping enough hours? Sleep is very important. Are you also dealing with other people in a very respectful and compassionate way? Are you working extra, at work, or giving your full effort, or just just a mediocre kind of effort? I mean, what are your behaviors like? Are you kind to people? Whatever it might be. Do you take care of yourself? Do you honor yourself and others as well? And so all these behaviors have a lot to do with improving the quality of your life and lived experience here on earth. But as your behaviors improve, then so does your environment, because it has to. It just automatically going to happen. So as your behaviors get better and better, you're getting to work on time, you're giving your best effort, you're rested, you feel energized, you do your exercise, you eat well, you take care of your body. All these things are going to impact your environment in a very positive way. And then you free up more space to move forward and work on your capabilities, your skills. So then now you're looking at, okay, how can I improve the quality of my work? Or how can I improve my skills? What can I do better? How do I improve on my talents and my gifts? And so you start to focus, because now you have more energy to focus on doing what you do to the best of your ability. I was reading John Altushare's book on, I think, choosing wealth or something like that. Anyways, but you see him a lot on YouTube or Facebook or what have you. But he comes up with a nice point. He says, I made millions and lost them, and then made millions and lost them, basically. But he says every time I was making the millions, I was spending money like crazy, hanging around with the wrong people, drinking too much, misbehaving, basically, not taking care of my body. I was getting overweight. I wasn't exercising because I was always partying, and everything kept going down, 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 down. And then I would wake up and think, okay, let me get my life back in order and fix all those things, and then hit it big again, only to repeat the same pattern all over again. So he's broken that pattern and has moved forward. So your behaviors and your capabilities are really, really important, because it's going to help you to move forward in every way, both spiritually and physically as well. So look at, how do I improve on my behaviors and my skills? How do I become better at what I know how to do? How do I bring on a new talent? How do I work on a passion, something I'm really passionate about, and continue to build on my skills and capabilities? Because it's going to make your behaviors are going to get better and reinforced, and your behaviors need to be top-notch in order to improve your capabilities. But as you improve your capabilities, you're probably going to get more pay. You're probably going to be in more of a demand from people who want your services or your gifts or your talents or your expertise. And then the behaviors get better, and the environment is going to get better. Every level below gets better as every level above improves. But once you're working on your behaviors and everything seems to be in flow with your behaviors and your capabilities, and your environment is flowing very nicely, you free up a lot of energy and space, basically, to move into the next level, and that's working on your belief structures. I always recommend you work on your belief structures all the way through, from the very beginning, as everything else as well. But you have more energy and more ability to focus on the beliefs that you hold to be true, and whether or not they are working for you or not working for you. A lot of things that let me just write a little note here. A lot of things that we suffer in life, or that we are challenged with in life, are very much connected with your beliefs, which, by the way, is going to be the next topic of our I workshop, that's a 3-hour workshop, which will be next week. All right, so keep that in mind. But your beliefs are going to be really important to check, and really start doing away with beliefs or old thought patterns that don't serve you at all. And if you're suffering, or if you're in pain, or if you're broke, or if you want something and don't have it, it's probably a belief fueling that lack. Okay, so you really need to work on those belief structures, because once you do, oh my God, the doors just open wide and all kinds of great things can happen. And now you can really move upward towards becoming more connected to who you are, your identity. So again, like I started off this segment, it's not about you being a male or female, or maybe a parent or single person, or whatever. It has nothing to do with your political affiliation or your religion or your job description. Nothing. Your identity is so much greater than that. I often start seminars, live seminars, with image of what our galaxy may look like, being a spiral galaxy, and what scientists, believe where we are located in our Milky Way galaxy. And it's at one of the spirals at the very end. There's a little tiny dot and a little arrow that points to it, says you are here. And when you look at it from that perspective, it's like you kind of like have to step back and think like, wow, like, then who am I? What is my purpose, and why am I here? Or if you ask those deeper questions about your identity, because it's not even about your gender. Have you ever had the experience where you look at your hands and you say, wow, these are kind of weird looking, interesting body, isn't that amazing? And when you're questioning, like, this is my body, who's speaking? I don't think so much it's the brain, because brain is part of the body. There's another level of you within that recognizes this is the vehicle I'm inhabiting while I enjoy my stay on Earth, basically. And you look at this vehicle, and who's ever questioning the voice that comes out, the thoughts that come out as you look at yourself and you say, wow, this, or my jewelry. If I say this is my jewelry, I might think, okay, well, that's me, the physical person speaking. But when I say this is my body, then I think it's that spiritual me who's speaking, that is recognizing that I'm inhabiting this body for a short period of time. My father used to say that thousands upon thousands of people, he used to say that Earth is like a big giant airport, because thousands upon thousands of people land every moment, every minute, every second, and thousands upon thousands leave every second. And he says, it's like we're just one big waiting station, and floating through space. Thought it was a kind of interesting perspective here. But at any rate, when you get to your identity level, once your environment is in order and your behaviors are in check, and your skills and capabilities are like top notch, and your beliefs open doors of opportunity, and then you connect with who am I and your identity, you begin to realize that you're far greater than just a male or female, or a human for that matter. You're greater than that. You're spiritual and you are physical. You have freedom to expand outward and sense information, then discern that information and apply it for problem solving. You're so much greater. And then when you really connect with that your identity as a spirit being having a human experience, then you're able to then go into a trans identity state, which is a little bit higher, where then you feel your oneness with everybody else that is. And it's and I think it's something we can always tap into and remind ourselves of, that all of us here on this planet are part of the same energy. There's not a distinction of energy, no matter where you live in the world, no matter what you do, no matter whether you consider yourself a good person or a bad person. It doesn't matter. We are all part of one energy that has been made manifest in so many forms throughout the entire universe. If we were to bring all those energies back into that one little thing that exploded billions of years ago, then that's what we call then source energy. That's one energy that has actualized itself or manifested itself in all forms. But we're all one energy, and we just happen to be encapsulated in this body right now, but not forever. And because we are all one energy, it's really interesting to then feel it yourself and everything else that exists and everybody else that exists. Because as you see someone else, it really is a reflection of you, no matter what level or depth you're looking at, whether it's inanimate matter or animate matter, like in plant life, or animal life, or human body and mind. It doesn't matter. When I do my seminars, you probably have seen this before, I usually break down how everything comes from that field from where all things are made manifest. That energy that's at the very core of everything, that seems to respond to your thoughts, your images, that responds to your intentions, your subjective energies, coherent emotions and feelings, and that energy responds to all that, and will deliver what you are asking of it. And that's why we have to be very, very aware as to what we are asking of it, because it does not discriminate. LJ Collazo asked a question, and he says, could you talk of where bad things fit in our dualistic nature? Remember that bad things is how we define them. Things don't have to be bad. I was talking to a friend while we're walking one morning, and she was talking about how one of her daughter's friend's mother had just passed away, and she was crying about that loss. And I said, why are you crying? And she says, because, she said, it's so bad, it's so sad. And I said, why is it bad? And she never really had thought it through in this way. And I said, many times it's our perspective, because she was suffering. She was cancer, in a very serious, obviously very serious stage of cancer, and was in pain and was not having the quality of life. And I said, sometimes death is a solution, and we're all going to get there. I mean, one person I know also said we're all born to die, and eventually we all know we're going to get there. And so I said, so it can be a solution, but why do we have to label it good or bad? Good for what? For who? Bad for who? It's probably just bad for those who are never going to see that person on this earth during their lifetime again. But, I really do trust that we'll have connection with that energy afterwards, or whatever it might be. It's a belief, okay? So how you believe it to be is going to make a big, big difference. So when LJ asked about, talk about bad things fit in our dualistic nature, I for one, don't believe anything is bad. I believe also that I create. Again, I say the word believe a lot, because what you believe is going to be how it's going to be for you. So I believe that my way of thinking, believing, behaving, my intentions, all of these things contribute to the actions I take that have consequences. Now, if the consequences are good, then I think, oh, good. And if something I did was right in the way I thought, I was thinking, believing, behaving, the energies like desire, belief, expectancy, or coherent emotions, all these things were working very nicely together to produce a positive outcome, or to attract a positive outcome. So when something doesn't fit what I would like to actualize in my life, I always first go to, there must be something better coming my way. I don't say, oh, it's so bad, it didn't happen. No, I just kind of pause and observe and let it happen, let it unfold, let it, just be a little patient. And we want everything like so instantaneously, and that's not the way it always happens. So I just kind of take pause and allow it to happen. I'm always like wowed by the goodness that comes my way that I had not even imagined. So it's not a thing about being bad or things being good. It's just a matter of what are you creating, or what are you not attentive to. You always seem to know, because you are dualistic in nature, whether or not you can see, hear, taste, touch, and smell it with your physical senses. You'll know inside somewhere if you're in a bad environment and you choose to stay, and then something negative happens, or if you maybe should have gone in a different direction, but you went this direction. You always seem to know. So that's why we always need to be very aware of our experience, both externally and internally, because it really does make a difference as to whether or not you're going to be in flow, as to whether or not you're listening and responding to those thoughts that come your way. So you go on to say, LJ, some people go as far as calling it evil or Satan. And again, it's a label. We all have labels, and we can label things any way we want. And if that's what those people believe, then it's going to be true for them. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that kind of negative energy in that sense. I think I also have the ability to rise above it, manage it, control it, eliminate it, not let it in my circle at all, because of how I think, what I believe, the positivity I radiate, the people who I hang around with, the behaviors that I engage in, the thought patterns that I have. You see, it all comes together. So again, if you believe that, yeah, it's possible that would happen. Because for you, it seems that bad things happen because we make mistakes, and the universe will, regardless, always remain in balance. And so, and I think, you're right on that. I think we make mistakes, but then what is a mistake? So we want to ask the further deeper questions. What is a mistake to you? Maybe not listening to your intuition. Maybe it's taking a chance on something that you think, well, maybe I should go this way or that way, but then maybe I'll go this way instead. I mean, so what is a mistake? A bad decision, a bad judgment, a bad choice? Again, those bad decisions, judgments, or choices come with your ability or inability to pay attention to what's coming your way, what's coming into your internal experience that you can perceive with your subjective senses. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And you go on to say the classic example is the law of gravity. We break and we fall. We break it and we fall. So sure, it's like the gravity does not discriminate, right? Nor does this energy from where all things come. It doesn't discriminate. It gives you everything you want. It responds to your thoughts, images, emotions, feelings, intentions. And your thoughts are charged with all these things. That's why we need to be very careful as to what we think, because it's not just words that come out. It's words that come out with, again, images, intentions, desires, energies, emotions, everything, feelings. So that's really important. And so that energy, like gravity, will not discriminate. It'll give you everything you ask for, but you need to know how to ask for it and what to ask for. All right. So when people ask me in my seminars, do you always have to speak positively or think positively? I say, always. Why would you think otherwise? I mean, to think positively doesn't mean that you're stupid, that you don't know what's happening in the world. It just means that you choose to place your focus on those things, because those things will expand in your life if that's what you focus on. So anytime a negative or seemingly negative thought or energy comes, cancel it out. Cancel, immediately go back into this wonderful, great feeling of achievement, of accomplishment, of reaching a goal or whatever it might be, okay? Just being happy or whatever, right? So sure enough, like gravity doesn't discriminate. You jump off a building, you fall, and you can kill yourself. This energy will give you everything you want. So, and he goes, but then you go on to say, LJ, there seems to be a form of grace that helps us when we make a mistake. What is my take? Well, this is my take, basically. Yeah, there is that state of grace, or to be a form of grace, when we learn from those mistakes, when we learn the lesson and we backtrack and say, what did I just do to create this? When my children were small, and now they're like 32, 33, and 40. But when they were little, if they were climbing up a tree and they fell and they got hurt or they scraped themselves or whatever it was, I'd always say, let's backtrack. What did you do to create this outcome? Well, they go back and start thinking, well, I guess I could have held on a little bit stronger to the branches, or my footing wasn't good enough, or I wasn't pulling myself up, or I went too high and I wasn't judging how to get back down as I was moving up higher and higher, or whatever it was. So they were able to backtrack, what did I do in order to get this outcome that was a bad outcome, supposedly, and then learn a lesson from that and don't repeat that again. Now you get better and more skillful at doing it again the next time, the time after, and whatever. So again, learn from your mistakes. My dad used to say that, like when something good happens, to say, oh, how would he say? Something good happens, say, oh, what a wonderful thing. That's a coincidence. But when something bad happened, oh, it's an accident. And I'm thinking, well, that's interesting too, because I remember this one man, that whole concept of coincidence or accidents. There was a man who had taken the civil course years ago. And he calls my father in the middle of the night, way back when. Of course, my father's been gone for almost 20 years or 18 years. But, when he was still alive, he used to move the phones to ring in his home after hours from his office, and this office was right next to his home. And so in the middle of the night, the phone rings, and my father answers the phone, and it's a drunk person, a man, who said, I just, wanted to say to Mr. Silva, not knowing he was talking to Mr. Silva, that his method doesn't work. He said, I've been using the method, the techniques for weeks on end to get a promotion in my work. And I got fired instead, and it doesn't work. I want my money back. And so my father said to him, why don't you call back when you're feeling a little bit better and you've had a good night's sleep, and Mr. Silva will be happy to talk to you. And he said, I just wanted to complain and tell him it doesn't work. So he hangs up. But a couple of weeks later, he calls back. And he asked for my father, and of course my father said, I'll talk to him. And he says, Mr. Silva, I'm the person who called in the middle of the night, and I was really upset because I had lost my job. I've been programming for this raise in this higher position, and instead I got fired. There's internal politics, and the guy below me got that job, and they found I was fired instead. And I was really upset about that because I thought that it was like totally against everything I was working and programming for, and that the method didn't work. But in actuality, our competitor found out that I had been fired, and they've been after me for a long, long time. So when they found out that I had been fired, they jumped at the chance to take me on board. And sure enough, because now I have a better job than I was programming for, I did even higher pay, and I said, it does work. And I always remember that story because I think it's a real good way for us to understand that because things don't seem to come your way right away, doesn't mean that there's nothing, that doesn't mean that there's something better up ahead. They're usually, if you truly believe that every day and every way things get better, better, and better, you're going to get something better still. Just be patient. Just keep your focus. Keep programming. It's always this or better. Keep yourself in the image or the experience of achievement. All of these things come together and play a role. I know it may sound like there's a lot of things to look at, but it's not. Once you get into the whole groove of it, of how your thoughts and your behaviors and your intentions and the energies and the emotions and the feelings all come together, then it's going to be an automatic thing that happens all by itself. You don't have to put any more thought to that. So when we talk, and by all means, please ask questions. And I hope, LJ, I hope that helped to answer, that question or that thought of yours. Also, before I move on away from this, remember that when you go through the Silva training, mostly the live seminars, and potentially also in the SLS audio program, in the exercises themselves, there's a phrase that says negative thoughts, images, and suggestions have no impact on me at any level of the mind. And so that's a program that is repeated in almost every meditation, during the training. And it's one that allows you to accept or reject any kind of negativity if you choose to, because that's your choice. I mean, you can choose to accept or reject anything at any time, at any level of the mind. Now, there are people who have different beliefs, and I've run into some people that when they do the meditations, they have a certain statement that, I open myself to only positive thoughts, feelings, and energies. I only do good here. I'm a compassionate person, and my goal is to serve or to solve problems. And I will only focus on positivity, and that's it. Kind of like just kind of protecting themselves with a statement when they enter the meditations. If that helps you, then create a statement that you feel will keep you focused on only allowing positivity into your internal experience and not to allow anything else to happen. So remember that what you think about, you bring about, and that field that we talk about from where all things come responds, to what you're thinking, feeling, believing, all those things. Now that field has a cohesive nature. That cohesive nature is what causes energy to come together in forms like subatomic particles. And so now we have subatomic particles that, although we can't see them or feel them or taste them, touch them, or smell them, science says that they exist. It's at the very foundation of all existence. And these subatomic particles have a cohesive energy because of this energy, this field, that when they come together, they form atoms. And these atoms are also at the very core of all existence, no matter what it is throughout the entire universe. And atoms have a way of coming together to form molecules. And molecules, atoms and subatomic particles together with this cohesive energy, is really what we call inanimate matter. A lot of movement, I understand, a lot of vibration and movement, but they don't reproduce themselves. They don't move themselves. A rock's not going to get up and move itself to some other location. It's inanimate. It's there. This won't move unless I move it, because it's inanimate. It won't reproduce itself. So all inanimate matter has those levels, and so do we. Okay, so do we. And then molecules have a way of coming together because of this energy, and then they form cells. And now we have plant life, also single cell animals, I understand, but that's what we call plant life level. So now plants, have that, that's where life comes in, and with the cells come primary perception. And so cells, has been shown already, can sense. So you are a sentient being even at the cellular level. All right, so you have, your body can sense information at a distance. All the tests that were done, that would start off with Cleve Baxter way back, probably in the 60s or 70s, showed or demonstrated that plants or cells have this primary perception and can respond beyond time and beyond space or distance. And so when cells come together to form tissues, and organs come together to form systems, and systems come together and they form bodies. And so now you have animal life, of which all animals, including ourselves, belong to. And then we have something else called intelligence, whereas animal life, including ourselves, we have biological or innate intelligence. We also have human intelligence that has a set of senses that are very unique to the human body and mind, or the human mind and being, spirit, where you have a set of senses that are very similar to our physical senses, but with no boundaries of time or space. Now, when we look at it from that perspective, we recognize that everything in the planet, no matter what it is also within us. We have the layers or levels of inanimate matter. We have the levels within us of plant life. We have levels within us that we are in rapport with all animal life and all other humans as well. And so we have that connection as well. All beings, all animals do. At some level of depth, we are all connected. We are all connected. We are all one with that energy that responds to our thoughts, beliefs, our images, intentions, feelings, and emotions. And so when you bring it around full circle, then we are able then to work very nicely with this wonderful energy from where all things come, and because of our dualistic nature. And I think it's really special for us to look at it from that perspective, okay? So when we're looking at our dualistic nature, and please ask questions if you want at any point in time. We say that because most of who you are is spiritual in nature. We say we're physical and or spiritual. The physical part is what you can see, hear, taste, touch, and smell, with your physical senses. That feels very tangible. And a lot of people always lean on what's tangible. If it's not tangible, they don't pay attention to it, where they're missing the boat, because you're more intangible and invisible. You're more spiritual than you are physical. When we look at our body, for example, our being, and we say to ourselves, okay, if I was to define myself, I would say I'm spirit, mind, body, and emotions. All right, fine. So let's go through that. When you're looking at it from spirit, can you see, hear, taste, touch, and smell the spirit? No, it's spirit, duh. So of course, being spiritual in nature means that it's not detected. It cannot be detected by physical means or instrumentation. But that you've got this part of you that you call spirit. It's that part of you that has purpose, that knows you're alive, that connects with this energy, this field with God, that is able to feel its grandeur, its greatness, that wants to serve humanity and extend a helping hand, that appreciates beauty and art and nature. It's that part of you that loves unconditionally. But yet, it's different than your emotions. Can you see, hear, taste, touch, and smell your emotions? The energy of emotions? No. I mean, you know if I'm happy, you know if I'm angry or sad, but you can't see emotions. You see the expression of emotions. Yet you know that you have a body or a part of you that is emotional in nature, and it's invisible and intangible. And it has certain requirements, like being accepted, like being tolerated, being able to express feelings and emotions. That part of you that that also experiences love. And so there's certain needs that needs to forgive and be forgiven. It's that part of you that has certain needs that are different than the spiritual part of you, yet it's invisible, it's intangible, it's also spiritual, because you can't see, hear, taste, touch, or smell it. And then you also have that part that is called the mind or the intellect. You can't see, hear, taste, touch, or smell that either, can you? But yet, we know that it's there. I have thinking processes. I've got memories. I've got, I mean, of course, a lot of it, has to do with your brain and the functions of the brain. But that my ability to calculate, to strategize, to program, to move through time and space is very, very special, and also spiritual in nature. The only part that is physical in nature is the physical body. So out of the 5 parts who you are, 3/4 of who you are is invisible, intangible, and spiritual. Only the body is physical, and yet at the very core of who you are as a physical being, you're just energy. That's it. That is invisible and intangible. So you are a spirit being having a human experience, and not the other way around. Correct? Okay. So I just want to make sure that we're moving in that way. Because it's really important that we understand that. Because then when you have mind, when you say we have a human body and mind, then mind itself is got a set of senses. Your human intelligence, is that part of you that knows all, basically. If you just pay attention, is connected to everything. It's one with. And mind is a focusing faculty of your intelligence. Mind allows your intelligence to move through time and space, through like the microcosm or the macrocosm, into the past or present or future. So your intelligence utilizes mind to be able to move without boundaries through time and space. Mind is a focusing faculty of intelligence, kind of like the focusing faculty of your eyes to see far and then see near, see far and then near, far and near in a matter of an instant. Your mind does that to your intelligence. So in the same way, I can see out into the distance in the night sky and look millions of miles or years away. Your mind allows your intelligence to roam or into the past. How far into the past? It's up to you. How far into the future? Wherever your imagination takes you. Into the microcosm, do self-healing, because maybe you're working on at the cellular level, at the genetic level, at your DNA, to be able to improve the function of your organs and your body. Why not? Or into other people, so you project out to loved ones who maybe need some healing energy, or you're doing some programming for somebody else. Sure, why not? Or to other solar systems or stellar systems. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. There's no limit. It's your intelligence using mind to achieve that, because mind has a set of senses of seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, and smelling, like your physical senses, but have no limitations to time or space. Okay? That is huge. That is huge, because then you have access to all information. No matter where it is. Your only job now is to learn how to discern that information, to make sense of it, and apply it for problem solving. So if you really start to focus on that, which is something that you learn to do in Silva Intuition training, when you focus on doing that, by going back and reevaluating, what did I just do that led to this positive outcome, and you make or establish points of reference with your experience, you're able, through those points of reference, duplicate that experience. And so that way you become more open and more aware of information that's all around you. And that is so huge, because that's what allows you to get your life in flow, to do the right thing, to make the right choices and decisions, to know what behaviors are appropriate for you, how to build on your skill set, and your capabilities, how to improve your environment. It helps everywhere. And really, when you do this, you have no problems. Yes, life throws challenges at you all the time. Things happen, but you'll also know that you'll have a resolution. You'll be able to resolve it, or create or attract something really positive, and that you're going to learn from that experience so as not to duplicate those experiences again, and only repeat or duplicate positive experiences in your future. And now you're in flow, and you just move in flow. So even when life throws something at you that you can't control, because you can't control everything, you can, although, control how you respond to it, and how you work through it, and how you resolve it, and how you rise above it, and how you learn from it, and how you benefit, and how you become a better person. All of those things. Okay, so it's really important that we begin to understand that part, because this is where your power is. This is where your human potential lies, in understanding that you can access information both with your physical senses and your mental senses. When you're perceiving with your physical senses, then you're connected to the external world. You're out here in the external world. But when you perceive with your mental senses, or your mental senses, you need to internalize. So you need to internalize and focus inwardly, whether with your eyes open or eyes closed. It doesn't matter. That's why I really push deliberate daydreaming, or open eye meditations, even the stoplight meditations and 1 minute meditations like we do in Simple Manifesting, because this is what allows you to practice going within, sensing information, and then focusing outward again and applying that information. So when you're posed with a situation, when you're posed with a challenge, when you have something that's like tugging at you, then you just kind of like go in and ask the question, how do I work with this situation? How do I work with this? What do I do next? And then just stay blank for a while so that information can come to you. And then when it comes, it goes, yes. You can blink or just refocus and act on it. But the other thing too is that you need to start acting on it in order to know how to evaluate that information when you get it. If it's valid or not valid, do you follow through or not follow through? You're going to need to do the trial and error in the beginning to clear up those mixed signals. So whenever you perceive information, you always follow through. And then you say, okay, how did I feel when I got that information that led to something positive? Or how did I feel when I got that information, but it led to something that didn't value me at all, or was of no value to me at all? So that way you make the points of reference and you know what it feels like. There's always a very distinct feeling between information that results in something positive and information that has no value or little value to you. There's it comes with a different energy, a different feeling. So recognize that feeling, because although it may appear very subtle in the beginning, after a while, it's so defined that you know not to even pay attention to this one and only stick to this. And then from that, once you get that, then only that kind of information will come to you, because you're listening, you know what to attract, you know the feeling behind it, and you know how to respond to it. So again, it's just a little bit of mindfulness on your part. It's not even work. It's just being present. It's being aware and mindful of your experience, both externally and internally. So let me see. All right, so I want you to be asking me some questions, because I want to be really clear as far as that dualistic nature of yours and how to work with it in a really practical way. So how do you work with this in a practical way? Like I just said, let me just put this here so I can do it for later, so that I can, so that you can do it on the go. We talk about, meditating on the go basically, and applying your tools and techniques in the practical way, because you want to be able to use what you've learned and use that inner dimension as you need it throughout the day. And if you're practicing the open eye meditations or deliberate daydreaming, similar, deliberate daydreaming, then you know that you can meditate even with your eyes open, or internalize even with your eyes open. When you internalize and you utilize imagery, visualization, imagination, tied together with emotions and feelings and intentions, when you're doing that kind of imagery, then you can't be focused on the outside. You are internalized. So that kind of deliberate daydreaming, and notice how my eyes kind of go upward a little bit, because that helps to trigger more of the visual aspects. I'm picturing things, or I'm experiencing things. When I'm experiencing something like an achievement, a future achievement that I want to actualize, and I'm really enjoying this achievement, and I'm doing it right now, I'm thinking, yes, I reached it, I actualized it, it's already done. How cool is that? And I'm inside, I'm internalized. And then when I came back and talked to you, and I was looking at the back at the camera, I'm focused here. But when I'm experiencing this sensation, I'm not. I'm inside me. And so notice how quickly, again, I'm focusing now at you. Notice how quickly you can go from one dimension to the other. So remember, you don't have to go through a long, drawn out meditation to go within. No, you just do it because you desire to internalize or externalize. So when you internalize, you can experience achievements and having reached your outcomes, or you can open yourself up to information, solutions, ideas. So again, what's your need at that moment? And you can shift from one to the other in just a matter of a fraction of a second. All right. That's the most powerful and practical way to apply Silva in your life, day in and day out, as you need it. And by all means, as you're going to sleep at night, do a meditation. And when you wake up in the morning, do a meditation. There's no reason why you can't reinforce your that internal experience with a formal meditation in the morning and at nighttime. You're already there. You don't have to go through alpha to go through theta and to sleep. And you're going to wake up and be at alpha anyway. So spend 5-10 minutes there. Plan your days, reinforce your goals, do some self-healing or heal others at a distance, whatever. Just, stay connected. That's your lifeline to like all this wonderful stuff that's coming your way that you want to actualize. So it's really important that we keep that in mind. All right. Oh, let me see. Maybe you've asked questions. All righty. Okay, no questions from anybody. Yes, I can hear you from Peggy from Ireland. Thank you, Peggy. But I really would like to hear from you and see if you have questions for me, because it really makes me feel like I'm being listened to, and that what I'm talking about is relevant to you and really makes a big impact and a big difference for you. So let me know if you have some questions. I really do want to hear from you. All right. Okay, good. I'm kind of excited right now because I'm on my way tomorrow to Paris. I have a New Mind for Financial Freedom seminar for the first time in Paris, and that's going to happen over the weekend. So I head out to Paris tomorrow and be with my good and dear friends and directors of France, which is Lee Pascoe and Michael Dotson, and they're amazing directors. So any of you who are in Europe or in France or nearby and can make the weekend, just give them a call, give them a shout out. You can always go to silvamethod.com and then find Lee and Michael, or Lee in Paris, France, and sign up for the seminar, okay? And if you need to know where else I may be going, because I go to Barcelona at the end of the month, then you can always go to to this website, laurasilvaquesada.com, and find out my schedule of different events, like next week's I workshop, which would be a 3-hour workshop on belief structures, and that's huge, okay? So that'll change your life completely when you start working with your belief structures. All righty, guys. So then I think I covered all my notes. I really wanted to have more of an interaction with you, but there's, I guess you're okay, and I'm okay, and I think we got everything going here just to clarifying why it is that we are dualistic in nature and how to make the most of it and really work on becoming that you that and connecting with that you that is powerful and can make great things happen, because you have it within you to make great things happen. You are that one energy that is encapsulated in your body, in your form, but you are that one energy that exists, that is one with the universal energy from where all things come. You have that power. It's like Nancy Dennis in her book Backwards, she says, it's like, we're like when you see the ocean, relating the ocean to, let's say, God or the universal source energy, it's an ocean. It's magnificent. It's huge. It's so powerful. And if you take one of those little drop from the ocean and you move it thousands of miles away from the ocean, you don't call it an ocean anymore, do you? Yet it has the same consistency, the same chemical composition as the ocean, but you no longer call it ocean. So the ocean is God, or universal energy, source energy. You're that droplet, but you have the same consistency, the same composition as that one energy we call God or universal source energy. The power might be different, but the power that one field of energy has to move the entire universe is the same power you have to move your universe, to do good on this planet Earth, to solve problems that come your way. You have the power to do anything that involves anything around you. If you conceive solving a problem, if you conceive an outcome, if you conceive a solution, if you conceive a better life, then you will achieve that or better than that. Okay? All right, guys. Mwah. I got to go pack. So I have a trip to make and got to go check in as well. And I hope I get to see some of you in Paris this weekend. And if you do show up, let me know who you are. I'd love to connect with you. And I connect with many of you as I travel throughout the world. And it's always fun to see your name, like, Peggy Baxter, or to see Klaus or LJ or Michael, and then be able to connect to them live and in person. Oh, it's exciting. I feel like I already have a friend there. So guys, thank you for showing up, and I hope to see you next weekend for the I Workshop on Beliefs. And if you have any questions, continue to ask. I'll refresh one more time and see if you have any questions. And no, that's it. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Love you all. Have a great day and have an amazing rest of the week and weekend. Talk to you soon, and we'll have another free webinar really, really soon. All right. Bye.